Hello everyone, welcome to the BISP solution. Today we'll start with current tax payable automation utility topic. So let's get started. The current tax payable account is a part of predefined supplemental schedule accounts which are available in tax reporting cloud services. It helps us in preparation of the current tax payable schedule for a legal entity and at a consolidated level. So the current tax payable include various movements such as opening balance, payments, refund, current year profit and loss, RTA profit and loss, payable closing balance, etc. RTA profit and loss, it can also be automated. And the current year profit and loss charge, it can also be automated. This will help us in arriving at the closing current tax payable balance in the application and prepare full-fledged schedule of the current tax payable of a particular entity or period. The current tax payable automated form includes tax payable data for current year and the previous 6 years data, and it also includes a consolidated tab for historical years data as well, which means we can have current tax payable schedule and it can contain data for the current year tax payable as well as the data for the previous 6 years from the current year, and a single consolidated tab for all the years beyond the previous 6 years as well. Basically, we can accumulate the entire data and prepare this particular schedule. So we'll have to create this mapping for the current tax payable automation as well. So basically from the here you need to navigate to the configuration window, that is from home page, application, and application to the configuration. We'll have this automation feature. We'll automate certain source accounts to the target accounts. Thus it will help us to create the current tax payable schedule for the organization. For that we need to go to the application and see how this particular configuration can be performed. So here in this slide it says to create mapping for the current tax payable automation, you need to navigate to the configuration window from home page to application and to configuration. You need to click on the current tax payable automation. Two new forms are will be displayed. First is current tax payable automation national. Second will be current tax payable automation regional. Then you need to click on the current tax payable automation to create the mappings for the current tax payable national. So whatever the values you will be entering for any of the movement members, it could be the current year profit and loss charge automated, current year OCI or equity automated, or it can be the RTA P&L automated, will cascade to the current tax payable automated form columns simultaneously. And then you need to specify the source account. You need to specify the values for what will be the exclude account. Suppose you want to exclude any child members of the parent member, so you can do it in exclude account, and you have to specify yes or no for the switch sign depending on the payable or refund. Now we'll see that practically. So from application configuration, so under it we have various configuration options. From there we'll go to the current tax payable automation. Okay, so this is current tax payable automation, and we can see for this particular point of view including the scenario, year, period, and the account. So right now I'll be seeing for actual year is FY21, period is P12, and the account is current tax payable. If you look for FY20, so this is my source. You need to mention the name and need to switch the sign. So basically here we can see this for particular point of view, including scenario, year, period, and this is the account which is the targeted account for all the source accounts. So here these are all the accounts, and you need to define the movements, the 3 different movements for these accounts. Here you have to give, like for P&L you will be choosing the current year profit and loss. Similarly here you can choose the equity movement, that is current year equity automated, here RTA automation. So the movements you will be choosing here. So this is the automation configuration from where we'll see this where we'll source the data to the current tax payable account, and then you need to prepare the current tax payable schedule for the same. So basically this is a backend working. We have a data source here, that is CTP rule 1, that is the current tax payable rule 1, whereby we have taken the source account as the TRCS underscore current tax expenses. Here you need to suppose give, you can give it from the dimensions as well, copy it from the dimensions. So these I was saying, this is my account, these are my source account. So here we have taken the source account as current tax expenses. We can copy this and even you can search it from here. Okay, so this TRCS tax accounts, from this they are choosing as current tax expense 1. Which is the current tax expense for a particular point of view, and we can exclude certain accounts as well, like it is excluding these RTA and the equity one from this P&L charge, so it has excluded. And if you have to need to switch sign yes or no, you can do it from here. So the accounts which have to be excluded, it needs to be the filed members of the source account which you have selected. Source account, in source account column and switch sign column, they are mandatory to be filled in the application. So the first column for the current year profit and loss charge, we have taken this first column, we have taken the current year expenses, and we have excluded the RTA adjustment automated and the equity reversal automated, because these accounts are included in other 2 movements that we have, that is these 2, they are included separately, so we are excluding it from here. Then we have switch sign, we can select yes if we have to switch the sign from the source account. So my source account have suppose positive data, but I know that it has to be the negative data in my current tax payable, so I need to switch the sign. For example, there is a payment figure, so while automating the payment figure, I'll have to set the sign as negative. If the payment figure at the source was entered in a positive number, I can click on yes and my sign will be switched from positive to the negative data. We'll see this account is situated in a hierarchy, so this is the supplemental schedule account, so and it will be scheduled for the current tax payable. Now this is the backend working. We'll be seeing how this will be carried forward, how because of this how linkages will be done. So whatever data will be there in this P&L charge, it will pick up from this particular account and will show you the linkage. So we'll see for first FY21. Suppose I'm not defining these two, just defining one for FY21 P12 and scenario is actual. After this, we'll see how this form we'll see how this form or schedule looks like from the front end. So what we saw was the back-end configuration. So basically this is the back-end configuration schedule, and now we'll see how this will look like from here. Under tax provisional national, we'll select the TAR. So under my tax account roll forward card, I have various steps available. We'll check how the current tax payable automated form look like and how this form or schedule get us to the appropriate closing balance of the current tax payable for the particular entity. So for this particular entity. So we have selected FY21. Now we are seeing front end of this form. We have the current year, that is FY21, and I have this is my current year FY21, and I have 6 previous years as well, in which I can directly input any data or any opening balance of all the previous year which were before the FY15. In this case, I do not have any data from FY15 to FY20. I have data only for FY21 for this particular point of view. So if FY21 we have, suppose I have entered 4 lakh in the payments, like suppose this is my it is showing the current year profit and loss charge as this much 5568243, and I have paid 4 lakh, and I can enter how much is the refund, how much is the payment, and then the next step is current tax payable automated. So this is the what is the payment I have done, and this is the payment detail. So payment detail is 1 lakh. That means the next step is current tax payment detail. So whatever payment detail you will be entering over here, it will be rolled over. See, I have entered P12 payment I have done of 1 lakh for FY21 current year for this particular entity, that is operation UST for P12 period and actual scenario. So I have done 1 lakh, and this will automatically rolled over to the current tax payable automated tab. So you can see the payments detail 1 lakh is coming from this tab, and 4 lakh I have entered here in under the payments column. So basically 5 lakh is my payment total, and this is coming as automated the current year P&L charge. So as you know, this is the linkages which I have given. So current year P&L charge is from particular this account, that is current tax expenses, and we haven't defined for these two, so only we are able to see the current tax expense, not the RTA, not the OCI adjustments. And we have switched the sign, so it is coming as negative, because here the payments need to be negative, but to subtract both the things, this is negative and these are in positive, so that we can get to the correct figure. So my current provision, you can say, or the tax payable liability is 5568243, and out of that I have total payments is 5 lakhs, so remaining will be I have to pay in the future. See, there is no P&L charge automated because we haven't defined any linkages over there, no OCI equity for FY21. So out of this, if we reduce 5 lakhs, so it will be 5068243. So this is my balance payable closing balance. This will be carried forward in the next year as opening balance. Now I'll be seeing the current year provision form. For that I need to go to the packages, and then we have the current provision form. We'll check there whether the P&L charge is same or not. Here we have the current provision tab or the form. From here we'll check for this particular, the intersection is same, so we'll check do we have this current year provision amount for P12 FY21 for this operation USD entity is same or not. That is 5568243 is my current provision, and because of the linkage is done, we are able to see in current tax payable automated 55686 current year P&L charge. So it is linked over here 5568243. Because of switch sign, it is coming as negative. Okay, so the amount is correct. So this much is my current provision. Now the current provision form, we'll here check whether the amount is same. So this is the year for which we are checking the current provision. It is 5568243, which is mapping to the current year P&L charge, and the amount 5568243, this is routed to the P&L account through the financial data. So this was basically the tax liability for a particular period. I have paid for 4 lakh from this much liability which I had, and I can I have already told you I can add another form named payment details, where I'll roll up to the current tax payable automated. So the current tax payment details from the form contain the entire data basically for the payments that we have paid in relation to the tax liability for different periods and different years as well. So in case I want to input 1 lakh data, I have rolled up from this current tax payable detail to current tax payable automated. So this was the thing which we have done till now. Now we'll be able to see liability basically for a particular year period by creating the current tax payable form. And now we can automate these movements so that we saw in the configuration tab in the backend. Oh, because we have configuration tab in the backend, and we can automate this thing, all the movements. So we can configure the current year P&L charge automated and link it with the current provision or the current tax expense. We can also automate the current year equity automated amounts. So some of the taxes which are routed through the equity OCI rather than from P&L, these can be automated as well. And we can also automate any additional charges for the taxes during the current period which are returned to accrual charges. Then we can have certain other options as well, and we can get the closing balance of the current tax for the current period. Now the closing balance will become the opening balance, what we have saw here. So altogether this was my closing balance 5068243. Now it will become the opening balance for FY22. And for this particular year we have mappings. We'll check the mappings for all these three accounts. Okay, so 5568243 is my opening balance for FY22. Now we'll go to the configuration schedule. This is current provision, current tax payable automated. Okay. Configuration, now we'll select for FY22. So this is my FY22 for this scenario, year, period and account, and these are my three accounts. These three are the movements. We have the mappings here in FY22 for all these three movements. So we have got the result in the current year PNL, the current year OCI and the RTA as well. And once all these have been adjusted, we have got the closing balance for this year. We'll get the closing balance for this year, and the closing balance will become the opening balance of the next year. So this is basically a ledger, what you can say for the current tax payable, in which we can automate three different movements and we can input certain data regarding the payments, what you have done, regarding the refunds or any other adjustment. If you want to do it, you can enter in this particular form, or you can say the ledger, so that we can get the holistic view of the current tax payable balances for the previous 6 years and the historic year as well, for the previous 6 and the historical year as well. So here we have the payment detail, which will auto populate from the current tax payable detail form. So we just checked. So we have input in detail form, which is getting rolled up in the tax payable automated form. So we have entered here basically in for FY22 now some of the certain refunds which are bound to receive from the authority. Now you see in FY22 we have done all the linkages for these three, and for first we have excluded the RTA and equity automated, and we have switched the sign as well. So now you will see the data in all the three differently. So this was closing becomes opening balance. Then you have if you see the current year PNL charge automated, this was my first linkages. So this is my amount 6231883. Then you have automated OCI equity automated, that is of 21,000. Then you have RTA automated, that is 1200456. Now you can match these all three amounts. Earlier you haven't matched RTA and this, so the amounts were not coming in these two columns. Now we have defined also, we are getting the fetching the data for all these three columns, and in net you will get the closing balance of FY22. I have entered, you can enter the manually, so I have done payment of 21,000. You can enter some refund here if you are getting some refund for the FY22 year. So we have here current year, as I told you, PNL charge automated. So we'll map it and check it from the current provision form, check whether the current mapping has been done or not. So this is my current provision, and we'll check for FY22 now to see whether the current mapping has been done from provision to current tax payable automated. Okay, so if you see the current provision for FY22 is 5010428, and we are getting 6231883. So this is a different amount. Now the reason is we have excluded these two amounts from here, that's why the amount is different. Now if we'll add back our RTA and OCI, it will come to the same amount. Now let us check. Right now we are getting current year penal charge automated as 6231883. On that we'll add up 21,000 because it is excluded from this, so we'll add up 21,000. We'll also add 1200456, that is RTA automated amount. Okay, so this has to be negative, so it is minus 6231883 plus 21,000 plus 1200456. So it is 5010427. If these two amounts have not been excluded, so this should be my current this should be my RTA automated, which we'll compare it. Okay, so 5010428. So this is what we have calculated, 5010428. So which is same. So the mapping has been done correctly, and we are fetching the correct amount. So in the schedule we have got basically the same movement. Now why this is different, I have already told you in the current provision. The reason is that we have excluded two of the accounts, which are equity and RTA amounts, from the current provision account. So we have to add those two accounts into this account to get to the P&L figure correctly. We'll see that how the figures will match, which I have already shown you. So you must have got the reason that why we exclude these two accounts from the current provision account. In case we haven't excluded, so we might have got the same figure only while generating that current tax payable schedule. Now we'll drill down here the additional taxes, where we'll have the RTA and equity reversal for national. So you can check it from here as well. So if you see, this is my RTA, that is return to accrual current tax sections 1200456. So this amount is getting mapped here, 1200456, and because of the reversal sign, the original is that is the minus, because it needs to be subtracted RTA, and we have reverse switched the sign, that's why it is positive. Similarly, the OCI, if you see here in this current provision, is 21,000 negative, and we have reversed it, so we are getting the positive 21,000. And from here we are reducing all these things and reaching to this amount. So we'll add back and we'll reach back to this 6231883, which we have already seen. So now my total payments and refund, if you see, the current tax which I am showing you here, we'll cover later. The current provisions, how we are deriving here, how we are getting to the current provision tax provision amounts, we'll cover that topic in the later sessions. Now we are seeing, just now we are covering the current tax payable automation. So now we are seeing in this FY22 we have opening balance as this much. I have paid this much, so my total payment total is 7. I have payment in, I have some amount in payment detail which I have entered here manually. 7376652. So here it is entity total, that's why it is not allowing you. If you do it entity input to the means the base member, you can enter. So 7376652 is my payment done. So it is automated or rolled up in the current tax payable automated, you can see. So these two the amounts we have done the payment. So this is my payment total. Now I haven't shown any refund right now. This is my P&L charge. I have also automated this much. I have equity total or the RTA automated this much 1200456. Now after reducing and everything, we are getting this as a payable closing balance, and this will be now become the opening balance in FY23. So if you see here, this amount, that is the current year P&L charge automated amount, is minus 6231883. This it is the amount we need to pay, the current provision amount. So and the equity automated is 21,000. Similarly, the RTA automation is 1200456. So basically this much amount we need to pay, and how much payment we have done is total is this much, 7355652. So out of this we have paid 73. Because of negative sign, I'm just reversing the signs. So this should be this was payable, this is this was the amount we need to pay. The already paid is this much, so the remaining amount we can see over here 2345224 is in the current year. So this will now be rolled forward because we have paid more, so that will get rolled forward in the future years and we can utilize that. Okay, so in this way, how you do the linkages. So this is my backend working. You need to link your current tax provision form, the amounts which you are getting over here, with the current tax or payable automated, so you can get how much is the payment, how much is coming from RTA, from the current provision, how much refund is there, and at last you can see the payable closing balance. And because of how you link that with this current tax payable automation, you need to link all these. You need to, if you want to exclude it, you can exclude some amount accounts, and you need to switch the sign according to the requirement. You can do this, that as well. So this is the way how you do the current tax payable automation. If you have any questions, please contact BISP. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening patiently.